Drones attack Russia's Mozdok, home to military air base. Sirski explains why 2023 Bakhmut counteroffensive failed and how Chinese nationals fighting for Russia in Ukraine. The latest news next. Beijing, in response to reports of the capture of two Chinese nationals fighting for Russia in Ukraine, has claimed that it has consistently urged its citizens to refrain from participating in any form of armed conflict, reported by The Independent.
Beijing said it had always urged its citizens to stay away from all areas of armed conflict and not become involved in any form.
Beijing also added that Kiev should be wary of China's constructive role in bringing about peace in Ukraine. About background, on the 8th of April, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky reported that Ukrainian troops in the Donetsk region had captured two Chinese citizens who were fighting in the ranks of the Russian military. Zelensky also noted that he had instructed Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha to urgently contact Beijing to determine how China intends to respond. Ukraine's Foreign Minister summoned the Charge d'Affaires of China in Ukraine, seeking an explanation regarding the involvement of Chinese nationals in combat on Russia's side. Oleksandr Syrskyi, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, has provided an explanation of the 2023 offensive near Bakhmut and denied the New York Times claim that Melitopol was supposed to be the goal of the counteroffensive, but he changed the direction to Bakhmut, reported by Sirski in an interview with LB.ua.
Every officer and general who took part in the fighting knows that this NYT article, AD, is not true at all. Yes, we conducted an offensive south of Bakhmut, but we conducted offensive actions with 2 brigades from the group. If we had 5 brigades, I think both Bakhmut and Soledar would have been liberated.
The New York Times wrote earlier that the plan to counterattack Melitopol was key for Ukraine, but General Oleksandr Syrskyi insisted on retaking Bakhmut, which changed the strategy and led to failure on both fronts. Sirski said that at the planning stage of these operations, it was understood that the forces were insufficient as they had only 2 brigades with no additional ammunition.
But we were counting on the unexpected, on the fact that we would break through the enemy's defenses with such not so much adventurous, but bold actions, given that they were not ready, not like, for example, in Zaporizhia Oblast. There, all the fortifications were in an ordinary field. And so we expected to be able to advance and cut the road between Bakhmut and Horlivka. That's the first point.
The second road, says Sirski, which the military wanted to cut on one side, is the road between Bakhmut and Debaltseve. This is the main route that was used for logistics, and the road to Popasna went off from it. This is another road that goes to the main motorway, explained the Commander-in-Chief. He noted that these are 3 roads that provided logistical support to the Russian group of 20,000 people. Sirski said, if we managed to cut these routes, the enemy would be forced to retreat. Otherwise, they would have been encircled. Sirski said that the military failed to implement this plan. We simply did not have enough assets and personnel. Oleksandr Syrskyi, Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, has also stated that Russian forces have, in effect, already begun an offensive on Sumy and Kharkiv regions, reported by Sirski in an interview with LB.ua. In response to a question about Volodymyr Zelensky's statement on Russia preparing an offensive on Sumy and Kharkiv regions, Sirski replied, I can say that the president is absolutely right, and this offensive has effectively already begun. Sirski said that this is evidenced in part by the fact that for nearly a week there has been a near 2-fold increase in Russian offensive operations across all major directions. The Russian Defense Ministry has claimed that there has been a large-scale Ukrainian drone attack on Russia on the night of the 8th to 9th of April. Air defense has allegedly downed 158 drones over Russian regions and temporarily occupied Crimea, reported by Russian Defense Ministry. Sergei Minyailo, head of the Republic of North Ossetia, Alania, Astro Telegram channel citing local residents. About details, it was claimed that 67 UAVs were downed over Krasnodar Krai, 29 over Rostov region, 15 over North Ossetia, 11 over Voronezh region, 10 over Kursk region, 5 over Belgorod region, 3 over temporarily occupied Crimea, 2 over Penza region, and 1 each over Saratov and Oryol regions and Stavropol Krai. Another 7 drones were purportedly shot down over the Sea of Azov and 6 over the Black Sea.
An attack by unmanned aerial vehicles was repelled in the Mozdok district. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, air defense systems destroyed 15 drones.
Minailo claimed that there were no casualties or destruction. Meanwhile, he added that a drone threat is in effect in North Ossetia. Astro Telegram channel citing local residents reported that drones had targeted a military air base in Mozdok. Photos showing smoke after the attack were posted on social media. The consequences are not yet known. However, Astro wrote that it had geolocated the photos with smoke and concluded that the footage had been taken near the Palace of Culture on 50th anniversary of October Square, which is approximately 6 kilometers from the air base. For reference, the MiG-31K and 2 aircraft used in many attacks on Ukraine usually take off from the Mozdok air base. The Ukrainian defense industry has unveiled a new drone designed to destroy Iranian-made Shahed loitering munitions, which Russia employs in its daily attacks on Ukraine. Reported by Militarny, a Ukrainian military news outlet Militarny reported that the interceptor drone has successfully shot down over 20 Shahed loitering munitions in the past 2 months. The drone is also capable of intercepting reconnaissance drones. It boasts a maximum speed of 200 kilometers per hour and can reach altitudes of up to 5 kilometers. Designers stress that it is the most effective interceptor drone currently in service with the armed forces of Ukraine. The new drone was showcased to Belgian Prime Minister Bart De Wever during his recent visit to Kiev. Ukrainian experts emphasize that developing affordable and efficient drones provides a cost-effective alternative to relying on expensive anti-aircraft missiles for targeting aerial threats. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe.